Hi guys, you're tuned in to another Rappler Live Jam. I'm Amanda and tonight we have with us singer-songwriter Niki Colet. She is being joined tonight by Tad Tayona on guitars and we're gonna listen to their music tonight. Hi guys,
Hi.
how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Welcome to Rappler. It's your first time here.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And so you've been doing music for a while now.
Yeah.
Um, and those who are familiar with you will know that you have this distinct acoustic folksy sound, folk inspired sound, but you actually started out, I heard you took up classical voice.
Oh, I actually started writing songs and making music a few years before that.
Yeah.
So I was around 10 years old when I wrote my first song, and it was pretty much non-stop songwriting from there on. And I love to sing, but I think I wasn't naturally inclined to it, um, even though I loved it very much. So I took my first voice lesson when I was around 14. Um, it was a classical voice lesson for about I think a few months or maybe a year. Yeah, so
That's
that's
very, I guess it's very different from what you're doing now. So how did you go
definitely.
from that to now?
Well, to be completely honest, I feel like I I wasn't a super great classical voice singer. Um, and I think that although I did learn a lot from those lessons, my singing style is super, super different from the techniques that I learned in classical lessons.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you wrote your first song when you were 10. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. At the time, I just really loved music on a very emotional level. And I think as kids, we can sense things very vividly. And recently, my sister and I were talking about how um, when we were kids, the way we experienced music was in this way that was so vibrant that as adults now, we can't quite access it in the same way. It's I guess similar to how food tastes a certain way when you're a kid and it tastes different when you're older. But so I really loved music, and I wrote my first song about a girl who lived in a fairy tale.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you ever, did you ever record it as an adult?
No, I never have, and it's such a shame because I can't find the lyrics, and I
Oh.
can pretty much just remember the first line, but I do remember the melody a little bit. So
Maybe you can rewrite a grown-up version of that song.
maybe I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what made you got into it from when you were very young? What made you decide that you wanted to do it for the rest of your life? Music.
Yeah, it's funny because as a kid, I think I was quite creative. I really enjoyed drawing. I liked writing short stories in my free time. I liked writing a lot of poems when I was small. But it was when I started to make music that I felt I was truly in my element. It felt like something clicked. It felt like I was just so in love with the process of songwriting. And, very early on, I think I must have been around 11 or 12 when I decided for myself, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life because I love it. It's fun. I feel like this is a field where I can be the most
Yeah.
myself.
That's a bold choice for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And a lot of certainty there.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I feel like I had more certainty when I was 12 than I do now at 23.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so sure.
And now you're here. You're playing some of your new songs for us tonight.
Yes.
And your first song for us is Big City. Can you
Yes.
tell us about this?
This is a song that I wrote almost exactly a year ago. And the idea behind this song is, I don't remember where this comes from, but I remember, I think it's actually a lyric from another song that goes, I've never felt so alone in a crowded room. And I guess the spirit behind the song is that sentiment of loneliness no matter where you are. the idea of being in a really, really big city with lots of people, a city like Metro Manila, but feeling very much isolated. And I guess how ironically sometimes being around a lot of people can make us desensitized to connecting on a very human level. We may tend to ignore those around us or vice versa. And it can lead to a lot of isolation. So this song is about that.
Wow. Okay, let's hear it. This is Niki Colet with Big City.
Before she got into her car and pulled out of the driveway, she pulled me in close. I thought she'd never let go. She said, I don't think that you really belong here. I think you need to get out of this place. Single day, it's the same routine, the same places, faces, the same old scene, and nothing's ever as exciting as it's cracked up to be. Maybe all I really want is a brand new me. City that feels like a very small town, where all the people know your name but pretend not to see you when you're around. He cornered me at the bar, put his hands round my waist, said he was bored, didn't even bother with names. Well, it's not like he would have needed them anyway. He said at this point I'd go home with anything. Oh, how I watched you from afar and wish this could be real, but you didn't want me, you wanted something to feel, and I can't help, you can't even help myself. I've been lonely too, and there's been no one else. I feel like just another cog in the wheel all the time. Wish I had something real and true and beautiful I could call mine. I base my value on other people, but there's no one around. All of my imaginary lovers packed up their things and drawn. And I live in a big city. I live in a big city that feels like a very small town, where all the people know your name but pretend see you when you're around. She said, I don't think that you really belong here. I think you need to get out of this place.
So if you're just tuning in, that was Niki Colet with her first song for the night, Big City. It's a song about feeling isolated even when you're surrounded by a lot of people. So how did you land on this genre of, it's very kind of folk inspired, acoustic. How did you decide on doing that genre?
You know what's funny is that I'm actually realizing that maybe my music isn't quite as folky as I might have thought it was. I feel like my sound comes out a lot. It may have developed out of necessity because I can only play two instruments, my guitar and my voice. And those are two like really prominent elements of folk music. But I actually think I'm still definitely developing. I feel like I always am developing my sound. I'm definitely still in the process of growing right now.
Yeah.
And whenever I make music, I do what feels right. So I do melodies that I like, and I'm careful with my lyrics. I'm careful with the rhythms that I choose, and it's very instinctive. Is that the correct word? Yeah.
Organic.
It comes from a very instinctive place, and I try to make the kind of music that I would like to listen to. So I guess it's not so much of an intentional choice as it is an organic development. After like songwriting for this long, I've been writing songs for more than half my life now.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like a third arm. It feels like another part of me. So
like some sort of muscle that
yeah, like a muscle, like an invisible part of my body. So so I feel like the music that comes out of that has grown with me as I've grown up as a person as well.
Yeah. And you mentioned lyrics, and I noticed like from that song alone, your lyrics, it's like storytelling almost.
Thank you.
And you did mention in previous interviews that you draw a lot of inspiration from literature, from movies. Are there who's your favorite author? Who are you reading? Who are you watching?
Oh, right now I'm reading The 13 Clocks by James Thurber. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. I'm actually reading, I always read like a lot of books at the same time, so I'm reading a ton. I'm also reading Sour Heart by Jenny Zhang, Essays in Love by Alain de Botton. I don't know how you pronounce his name either.
Alain,
it's like
I think it's Alain.
Alain.
I'm not sure.
Alain de Botton. I don't know. It's French, I guess. And I'm also reading Too Much and Not the Mood by Durga Chubos. As for movies,
what's your all-time favorite?
oh, that's so
Do you have
hard.
one?
That's so hard to answer.
Or your current favorite?
Current favorite. My answer is very embarrassing. I think that one of my all-time favorite movies would have to be Zootopia.
Oh, no shame.
Other movies that I really love are Finding Forrester, When Harry Met Sally. I have to think of. I bet I'm gonna think of movies later and just be like, why didn't I think of that? I also like this other movie called 200 Cigarettes, and another one called Night on Earth. They're both 90s films that are set at night, and they're like a cast of like vignettes of different characters. So
Ooh, that sounds obscure.
they're cool. Winona Ryder is in one of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do you find that you have to immerse yourself in all these? Because you read a lot, you watch a lot of movies. Do you find that it helps your own creative process when you take in all these different art forms?
I think that on a subconscious level, it might have an influence on my own creative process. So I don't necessarily write exactly like about like a fictional character I read or about a scene in a movie, but I might be inspired by one. And something that's interesting actually is that, well, I'm not sure if it's true, but I have heard from quite a few people that my writing style is like cinematic, supposedly. And well, that's a big compliment for me. But it's also not intentional. And I think that that might be a result of my love for film because maybe because I watch a lot of movies and, you know, I'm very influenced by that art form. The way that I see things and the way that I imagine scenarios is like it's like they're, you know, panning out in a movie.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why it translates into the way that I write. The scenes can sound a little bit movie like and the lyrics can be a bit storytelling narrative style.
Yeah. Like you said, it's an organic development.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your next song for us tonight is You Still Show Up in My Dreams.
Yes.
This is your latest single that
It
you
is.
released on Spotify.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about this song?
Yeah, this song is my it's technically my debut single because it's the first song that I've, you know, put out there in online stores. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Deezer. And every verse in this song is a depiction of a dream. And basically, you know that feeling when you wake up from a really good dream and you're just heartbroken that it wasn't
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You know that, and I guess many of us do experience that in a literal sense, but we may also experience that in a more nuanced figurative sense. Like maybe there are people or moments in our lives even or places that are so instrumental in forming who we are, and when those moments are over or when those people are gone, we feel almost that same sensation that we might feel as though we're waking up from a dream, and no matter how hard you try to grasp at it, you can't get it back.
Yeah.
So this song so this song is a little bit about, you know, falling in love with a memory, romanticizing the past, wishing you had something that you don't have. So it's about all those different themes that I feel many of us have experienced in life.
Okay, let's hear it. This is Niki Colet with You Still Show Up in My Dreams.
You touched my face and smiled. You said, "Come away with me." I was holding someone else's child and she cried when I said, "I can't leave." Leave. There was a circular bar, flashing lights out of a sci-fi movie. You knocked back the last of your favorite drink, put out a cigarette as you said to me, "Hey, babe." You pulled me to your lap, gave me a kiss. You made a joke and I laughed, saying you're the only person that I would ever miss. I don't think we get to choose. You will always be my muse. the doors, with my windows rolled down in the dying light. But you don't live here anymore. I never told you, but I just might sail away to outer space. The last time we met, you shaved off all of your Jim Morrison hair. We could never have been together, you said, because I never go there. What if I tried? I don't think we get to choose. You will always be my muse. I never wanted to stitch your seams. You still show up in my dreams. So stay for a day. I try to scrub you off, but you won't wash away. Come back when you think it's time. I don't care what you do, you always shine. The memories get murkier the harder I look. There's no getting over you. I tell myself I love, but I don't think that's something I'd ever do. Come back. Come back. You can come home late. Come back. We can dance to the sound of 1963. I could listen to you play the same old riff of Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't think we get to choose. You will always be my muse. I never wanted to stitch your seams. You still show up in my dreams. You still show up my dreams. You still show up in my dreams. Come back. Come back.
If you're just tuning in, that was Niki Colet with her second song for the night, You Still Show Up in My Dreams. Wow, that was, yeah, that high five was well deserved. So, okay, by the way, guys, this song is on Spotify. It's her first single, so you can listen to it there.
Yes.
Um,
iTunes too if you want to buy it.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned in an old interview about this song that you wrote it while you were going through a creative dry spell.
Was it this song?
I think so.
It-
Or what? Well, speaking of creative dry spells, I mean, what do you do when you hit that? When you hit a wall creatively?
Sometimes it's tough because sometimes taking a break helps because you kind of get you get out of that headspace and you stop pressuring yourself to make a certain specific thing. But sometimes it also helps to force yourself. So I think it's a trial and error kind of process. One thing that definitely helps is absorbing the work of artists that I admire, for me at least.
Yeah.
I listen to music. I try to find music, new music especially that I love. Sometimes it helps to practice covers on my own of these songs, or sometimes I go back to old favorites. Like one of my favorite songs of all time is "I'm Still Here" by John Resnick,
Mm.
and um, that song gives me a lot of comfort. And it's music like that, music that maybe the first album that you ever fell in love with, or the one of the first few songs that you really made a connection to. They kind of serve as like an amulet of sorts, an amulet,
Yeah.
sorry, or like an anchor, where you can go back to them, you listen to them again, and they remind you of why you love music and what you love about music, and it helps you tap into that whole creative process again.
Yeah. And who are the artists that who are your amulets that you go back to?
Um, right now, I'm drawing so much inspiration from Lord.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
she.
interesting because you sound so different.
Yeah, we very different genres.
But I guess in lyrics wise, there's like a similarity
Would you
with.
say that?
I mean, just because her lyrics are so heartfelt and like emotionally like a gut punch.
Yeah, I take that as a huge compliment because I
Yeah.
really look up to her. Um, I also, I, I recently discovered that the Lumineers, who I loved in high school, released an album 2 years ago, I think, and I had no idea. And I listened to that album, and I literally cried during one of the tracks called Cleopatra, because it was just so beautiful and profound. Other artists who I would say are my anchors would be maybe Regina Spektor.
Mm.
She's one of them. There are certain songs by Bob Dylan and Suzanne Vega that I also loved in high school that I go back to. Um, Songs from middle school even. Like yeah, I'm Still Here is a big one. Little Wonders by Rob Thomas. Um, I liked a lot of Avril Lavigne, but then
Yeah.
I haven't revisited her music lately. But then she was one of my inspirations for when I was starting to write songs.
Yeah.
So
So that's a very diverse roster of artists that you go
yeah,
back
yeah,
to. But I guess it's interesting how you all pull from them and come up with your own sound.
yeah.
But you've also been compared, or not compared, but a lot of people have said that you're reminiscent of certain artists like Regina Spektor, who you mentioned, and like me personally, you remind me of a little bit of Ingrid Michaelson.
Oh wow.
Some people say Fiona Apple. And these are, of course, it's awesome to be told that you remind people of these artists, but
Yeah,
also,
definitely.
how do you deal with the comparison as someone who wants to shape her own identity?
Honestly, I view them as such a compliment, because to be compared to these artists who make such beautiful music and who have such unique and distinct voices, it must mean you're doing something right. So, and I feel like because my influences are really varied. I mean, I even like hip hop too. I mean, I like all genres except maybe screamo. I'm not really a screamo kind of gal. Just my preference, but because my influences are very different, and also the artists who I might get compared to are really different. I feel like those all of those people are like my artistic parents. They're like my artistic ancestry, and looking at all of them together, all of the songs that I've ever loved, all of the artists that I have ever followed, they create such a melting pot, I
Yeah.
guess, of music. And I don't know, it's pretty cool to be
Yeah.
compared to those people. It's
That
a
is a
big
cool way
compliment.
of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your next song for us is The Sound. Or
Yes.
yeah, The Sound.
Yes.
Can you tell us about the song?
Well, I wrote this song when I was feeling very lost. Because as much as I love music, I consider it to be my first love. There have definitely been hard times. And I think um, maybe even the fact that I grew up with it and I grew up loving it so much makes the hard times feel all that much more difficult for me, because it then becomes tricky to reconcile.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a integral part of who I am. So why am I uninspired right now? Whenever I'm going through a creative block. Um, and sometimes it can feel a bit scary to have that thing that is so important to you suddenly disappear or fade away a little bit or take a walk. And it then feels like, oh my god, there's this part of me that doesn't feel like it's there right now, and I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned earlier that from a really young age, I felt like music was really my calling, and I still do feel that way. But there have been times growing up where, of course, like, you question these things, you go through existential crises, and you wonder what you're put on this earth to do. And yeah, it can be really tricky. So I was going through a really particularly difficult time because I was trying to figure out my life. And on the one hand, I knew that I was forever going to write songs no matter what. But on the other hand, I was going through a creative dry spell,
Yeah.
and I was having to decide on, like, next,
What to do.
what to do, next steps.
To stay or to keep doing it.
Yeah, and I guess I wrote this song for anyone who ever feels unmoored or lost, or like they maybe knew for a long time who they wanted to be, and then now they're not so sure.
To reassure them, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because while I was going through this crisis, I was talking to a friend, and this friend of mine said, every artist goes through a creative block. The music will never leave you. And it was such a comfort to me that she said that. And I realized through the years that, even if we love something, even if we let it go, it will always come back to us, because we have like a chamber of our heart with that
Yeah.
thing written on it, whatever it is. So no matter what it is that you feel passionate about, whether it's music or art or writing or world peace or the environment, if there's ever a point in your life where you feel your passion for it is waning, I think that's okay. I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was. And this song is about those times. It
Okay.
will you will be whoever you are meant to be, and you are whoever you are,
Okay.
and that will always come back to you. So yeah,
Let's
this
hear it.
song this
Yeah.
song is called The Sound.
Yeah.
$40,000 your feet are bleeding. It's been a long, long while since you heard a friendly greeting. Something honest, something pure. You were once open, you were once sure. And like a habit that liked you so stay, you learned just how to keep all of the yearning away. One day you woke up in the cold November light, packed your things, walked away, left it all behind. But I've been feeling it like a murmur under my skin. Sirens calling me out to shore, and I can hear the thumping of ghost feet on the ground. I may never sing again, but I can't seem to leave the sound. You'll never amount to much, you're not worth a lot. I'm my own worst nightmare, I'm the only friend I ever got. I used to think I knew the way, used to believe in my own plans. Suddenly everything just changed, and I can't see it from where I stand. everything is slipping through your fingers like sand. You're tired and you're lonely and you just don't understand. You could throw your chest aboard and let it sink for the tide to wash away pages fading into ink. But I've been feeling it like a murmur under my skin. Sirens calling me out to shore, and I can hear the thumping of ghost feet on the ground. I may never sing again, but I can't seem to leave the sound. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And I've been sleeping on all of my dreams, but nothing's better than bursting at the seams. Burning fire, knee deep in failure, and my reflection stands a stranger. But I've been feeling it like a murmur under my skin. Sirens calling me out to shore, and I can hear the thumping of ghost feet on the ground. I may never sing again, but I can't seem to leave the sound.
Up, that was Niki Colet with The Sound. So you were mentioning earlier that you wrote this song when you were going through a particularly an existential crisis.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of your, I guess, a lot of your music you draw from your personal experiences.
Yes.
What does it feel like to have things so close to your heart suddenly out in the open for people to listen to?
Well, I think, you know, a lot of what I create, it comes from me. But I'm also, I guess, like what we were talking about earlier, I do get inspired as well by the things around me, by books I read, movies I watch, people I know. I've, you know, I've definitely experienced things where it wasn't me, myself, who experienced them, but maybe a person I loved, or maybe, you know, something that I like read in an article or whatever, and it really touched me, and so I wrote about them. But what's interesting, I guess, is that whenever I write songs, I just write them, and I don't really think right away about whether other people will hear them or not. Usually, I have so many songs that I'm probably never going to record because maybe they felt right to make in the moment, but then when they were done, I kind of had to, you know, think for myself whether the songs themselves reached like a standard of what I want my music to be like.
So what is the criteria? What songs make the cut?
It's difficult to define in words, but I think as a musician, I just want all of my songs to be really good quality. And well, it's actually I'm remembering now, like all of a sudden, back when I was in my first year of college, I joined this songwriting camp called Elements, and a lot of really legendary and brilliant established Filipino artists were there. Joey Ayala was there, Ryan Cayabyab, so many. And I was really fortunate that my songwriting group, one of our mentors was Army Milyara, who who I have looked up to for a really long time. I, of course, definitely still look up to now. And I was having this one-on-one consultation with her in the songwriting camp, and she was telling me the same thing. Because when I was younger and I was growing up, I always set a standard for myself. I always wanted my songs to be really good quality. I wasn't sure how to define that in words, but I just knew it when I heard it.
It's instinctive.
It's instinctive, yeah. And when I was talking to Army, she said the same thing about herself when she writes songs. That it's important for her to, set a standard
Yeah.
and, make the songs that you make, but release the ones that you truly feel, reach that standard. And on the last day of camp, I had everyone sign my songwriting notebook, and she wrote, "Set the bar high." So I was like, oh my God, Army Miliar is telling me to set the bar high.
So you have to set the
I
bar
have to
high.
set the bar really high.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just, it's a process. So whenever I finish writing a song, I play it for myself. And if I don't really feel it, if I don't really like it for myself, I kind of just shelve
Set
it,
aside. Yeah.
But if I do like it for myself, I show people I'm really close to, family, friends. And if I get a good reaction, then I start playing it at gigs. And then I consider, future projects where I could record it. But then if I don't get like such a great reaction, I'm like, only
Yeah.
I like the song, so
It's for you na lang.
it's just for me lang, yeah.
So here's one song that made the cut.
Yeah.
The next song could be love.
Could be love. I
Yeah.
have to get my
So what's Could Be Love all about?
Could be love is about the feeling of having a crush. And Woo.
Everyone knows what that's like.
Oh yeah. And it's about that point of having a crush where you're just on a high and this person makes you really happy whether the feelings are returned or not.
Mhm.
And you're kind of romanticizing everything that could be.
Yeah.
And you're looking at all the little details, every single glance and word that
Finding
comes,
meaning in every single
finding
thing.
meaning in everything. And it's kind of, it's a bit of a self-deprecating song actually, because I think it kind of pokes a little fun at itself for romanticizing romance so much.
Yeah.
I guess you'll hear the lyrics in the bridge. There's a line that goes, there's parts of him you imagined up, some kind of dark stoic fairy tale prince, he'll never live up to it. So it's kind of about like knowing that you're making this person out to be something that they might not completely be, but you know what? That's the feeling. So
Yeah.
it's a song about a feeling.
Okay, let's hear it. This is Niki Colet with Could Be Love.
Here he comes, tall, dark, and beautiful, and it's like the answer to a secret prayer deep in your heart. You hope to God nobody else hears. You think it might just be the end of everything you know, and it's like pure electricity when he looks your way, and you wonder if he does think about you the way you've been thinking about him too. 'Cause honey, oh, hey, this could be love. Someday might just be love. You can't be sure, but it could be love. Could be love. Don't look now. He might catch you breathing and notice that he catches your breath. He's so close, you could reach out and touch him, but you won't. Well, maybe just not yet. In his eyes is a universe you like to float in for light years at a time, and you think he's got some dirty little secret you don't know yet, but one day you just might. 'Cause oh, hey, this could be love. Someday might just be love. You can't be sure, but it could be love. Could be love. There's a secret that you find deep inside your peace of mind. You know there's parts of him you imagine up some kind of dark, stoic fairy tale prince. He'll never live up to it, but reality's better than dreams. Anyway, here he comes, tall, dark, and impossible to figure out what's he really all about. And you wonder, does he say what he really means to say? 'Cause you could kiss the bruises away. And now, hey, this could be love. Someday might just be love. Play your cards right, babe. You could be walking into something magic. Oh, hey, this could be love. You don't know yet, but it could be love. Could be love. Here he comes, tall, dark, and impossible to figure out what's he really all about.
So, guys, if you're just catching up, that was Niki Colet with her fourth song for the night, "Could Be Love." And these all the songs that you've played for us so far are your new songs. They're gonna be part of your upcoming EP.
Yes, they are.
Can you tell us about that? How is it gonna be different from your first EP?
Well, I feel like I've grown musically, and I'm continuing to grow, and I'm really excited about this one, because before, I think I boxed myself in a little bit because of course I could only play guitar and sing, and I just felt like, oh well, this is probably just what my music sounds like. But last year I was jamming with my sister, who is a really talented musician. She plays the guitar, drums, she plays a bunch of instruments. And we were jamming along to the song, and she was on her electric guitar, and it was so strange because I never thought that my music would ever be played on an electric guitar. But when she was playing, I was like, you know what? That's it. That's my sound. It feels right. And I knew that it felt right because I also know how it feels when you're working with someone, or you're trying to experiment with a certain sound, with extra things, and it just doesn't feel like it clicks. And so I asked her to arrange my EP for me. So and I also approached a producer who I really look up to as well, but I won't name names yet until it's
a surprise.
It's a surprise. And so I have more people on board working with me, working together on the upcoming EP. And I feel like the sound overall is going to be a lot richer, maybe. I think that in terms of lyrically, the themes are different, and I'd like to think that I've developed as a songwriter as well.
Yeah.
I think that the melodies, hopefully they have improved, and I have also been working steadily on my voice and my performance. And so the upcoming EP is really exciting for me, because I feel like it's been 4 years. So the past 4 years of just making music after that first EP, I've changed a lot as a person and as an artist. So I hope that those things are visible in the
It's a new version of Niki.
Yeah,
kind of.
Kinda.
A grown-up version, an evolved version.
Still me, but I guess
but better.
Developed.
Yeah. And when can we expect
well,
the EP?
definitely this year, hopefully. Definitely hopefully. I am shooting for August. We'll see. I hope it's out by August.
And where can people get updates?
Oh, they can get updates on all of my social media. If you guys like my music, please like my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ Niki Colet Music. And my name is spelled Nikicolet. So it's Niki with 1K, Colette with one of everything. Um, and I also have a Twitter and an Instagram at Niki Colette. And I'm also on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Niki Colette. And then yeah, if they follow my artist page on Spotify as well, when the EP comes out on Spotify,
It'll
they'll,
all be there.
you know, yeah.
Okay. We're heading into your last song for the night.
Yes.
And this song is called Yes.
Yes.
What is it about?
This song um this song is about wanting something that you know you shouldn't because it's going to be bad for you.
Oh no.
You know? Yeah.
But then the title is Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I guess it's about that feeling of, you know, you want something and you know you shouldn't. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's hear it. I
Thank
guess the song will speak for itself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Niki, for being with us tonight. And thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Niki Colette with her last song for the night, Yes.
Thank you, Rappler, for having me. And thank you, Thad, for playing. I hope you guys like this song. This is Yes.
Baby, hey, is it cool if I call you baby? Tell me the truth, have you had a drink lately? Take a swig, no, take the entire bottle. I feel like forgetting myself tonight. Cloudy eyes raging in like a storm. I'd like to dance in your rain for a while. I don't mind the thunder. Have I ever told you I'm fond of the cold? You won't remember me tomorrow, but you'll call me 2 Wednesdays from now, 'cause you have a show. You'll ask if I'd like to go. You know I'll say no, but tonight I'm wearing a pretty dress. Maybe I'd like to know for once how it feels to say yes. You look at me like a tangible secret. Flip a coin and tell me I can keep it. I can't see through your cigarette smoke and mirrors. Red hot whiskey laced dreamer. Oh honey, I'll confess I don't understand what I'm doing here with my face in your hand. You tell me you like to talk about dreams, but somehow I think you got other plans. You won't remember me tomorrow, but you'll call me 2 Wednesdays from now, 'cause you have a show. You'll ask if I'd like to go. You know I'll say no, but tonight I'm wearing a pretty dress. Maybe I'd like to know for once how it feels to say yeah, yeah, yes. And there he goes, they all say. Handsome as a tall, dark charmer in a matinee. He'll take you for granted, if only you should be so lucky. Well, I'd like to decide, but I haven't quite made up my mind. If I should call you baby, if I should dance in your rain, if I should pull you in for a kiss, if I should pass on the pain. Okay, why the hell not? Cloudy eyes raging in like a storm. I like to dance in